How's it going? My name is Scott McKenzie, and my report is on drug trafficking, specifically from Latin America to the United States through the Caribbean. Just a little background, this topic hits home for me. I'm from the Virgin Islands originally. I was raised on St. Thomas since I was 3.5 years old. And the drug trade is quite prevalent from that in the island that I come from. I have a lot of friends that when I graduated high school and went to Fordham, they got somehow involved in this drug trade that we have on our island. And the main concept that really, the background that you need to understand this is that there's this invisible highway that drugs flow on from Latin America to the United States. And this invisible highway is one that, ran with small airplanes or human mules trafficking drugs, or semi-submersible submarines to go fast boats, really, you name it. But the area between Central South America and Florida, Mexico area, where the border towns are, where there are drug smuggling tunnels into cities in the United States, that mainly is the highway. And that's the main thing that's being protected by the Coast Guard and border services. However, for this topic, we're going to talk about the Caribbean and how drugs are usually trafficked from, a source country, be it in this case, let's say cocaine comes from Colombia, and that would be the source country where it is produced, and they have coca farms, and it's then whatever the process is to create it into the cocaine powder that's sold in the United States, that's all done in Colombia, with the next step being moving it out of Colombia. As I said before, there's the Coast Guard and other local government agencies trying to stop drug trafficking always, even though it's impossible to stop. Someone will always find a way. However, with the Coast Guard being the main authority on this, their whole thing is stopping the flow of drugs from these countries. So they are the main force that protects our border on the Caribbean side from narcotics entering the United States. So just going back a little bit, produced in Colombia, and then it would be moved to a country outside of Colombia because of all the heat that it has behind it, being the producing source country of this drug. It would usually get moved to like Venezuela, a country next to it, where there's a little less heat on it, and traffickers can easily move it throughout the Caribbean with a jump spot country. And for example, there are many that you could list, from Haiti and the DR, well, Hispaniola, from Haiti, the DR, to Puerto Rico, to us in the Virgin Islands, which drug traffickers tend to switch their routes when they feel like local law enforcement or the Coast Guard is catching on to their route that they're using, or maybe a bust has occurred and they've taken a financial loss and realize they can't use that route for a month or two until it cools down. So in the Virgin Islands, you see a not consistent, however, a fluctuating increase of violence occurring from drug trafficking. For example, there's back in September 28th of 2019 on the island of St. John, a FBI agent was shot by two men who were retrieving a parcel of cocaine that was arriving from a boat from Venezuela, coming from Venezuela on a boat, arriving to a beach in the middle of the night and cops got there and there was a shootout, and unfortunately this officer was wounded from this. That's only one instance of, in the Virgin Islands Daily News is where this one is cited, but that's only one instance of violence occurring in the territory that is directly attributed to drug trafficking. You tend to, and the main, I really didn't explain this, and that's my bad, is that these drugs typically don't enter the United States directly from Colombia or Venezuela or Ecuador or a country next to there, because of how scrutinized those packages are going to be from the Customs and Border Patrol once they reach a city like Miami or Houston. They know that these are drug source countries, so if there are drugs in the packages, they will be found, they will be destroyed. These cartels will lose their profit. So they usually use a drop source type of method through Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, and the Virgin Islands, like I said, fluctuating before, where the drugs will come from South America to these Caribbean islands, be held at a certain location to be packaged up again and shipped to the United States again, because it appears to the United States as a safer bet. Oh, this package is coming from Puerto Rico or the Virgin Islands. Both are American territories, thus less likelihood for drug trafficking. However, traffickers use this to their expense. For example, back in, let me even think. I mean, around the same time, it was in 2017, maybe a little earlier, when I was graduating. It came out that there was a giant conspiracy in the Virgin Islands to acquire cocaine from South America. And this was a small organized group that did this, however, producing millions of dollars. Where they would acquire cocaine coming from South America, usually coming on transport directly from there, or going to the British Virgin Islands, which is a stone's throw away, maybe 4 or 5 miles max away from the U.S. Virgin Islands, and a very easy border to cross by a boat. Thus, drug traffickers will drop it in the BVI and they'll bring it over to the USVI, which in a sense already has the drugs entering the United States at that point. So those are the two methods, and this local cartel, you could put it, would use government credentials and airport employees who had badges that would allow them to pass TSA without their bags being searched, to bring cocaine through our international airport with daily flights to dozens of cities in the United States, and then a courier or a mule would retrieve this package that person, airport worker A, brought in, and now they have these drugs on an airplane bound for the United States with zero customs requirement when they land. Unlike other Caribbean countries, Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands being U.S. territories, we land at the airport just like every other plane from any other state. There's zero customs, and you take your bag and you walk right out of the airport. So this has been a very popular route for drug traffickers because of the consistency of it, especially with this corrupt system which was filled with government officials up until including the personal bodyguard of the governor of the Virgin Islands at the time, who was indicted and is now in prison for this scheme of bringing cocaine through the airport and then catching a Spirit flight and going to Florida, where once cocaine is in the United States, prices jump drastically. in the daily news article that this read, it said that it goes for $33,000 in Florida once they get it there. Doing some prior research and knowing through watching a lot of Vice videos, I know that cocaine in Colombia doesn't cost more than $3,000 a kilo. So for a price increase like that, there's bound to be corruption. And really, just to conclude all of this, we were given the freedom with this project to explore something a little more outside the box than was typically assigned to us during this course. So it was a great opportunity for me to look back at my home country and how that system, it plays such a huge role in the dynamic of that place, where while tourism is a great market and there is a drug market for tourists, the main drug market on this small Caribbean island comes from the use of those in Miami and New York and other major cities in the United States. And just a very eye-opening bit of research to do. So I hope that you guys learned something cool and interesting after watching this. I hope I opened someone's eyes a little more that the Virgin Islands and the Caribbean aren't just the simple tourist destination and as secure as you thought it was. It is a true drug trafficking point that moves large quantities of drugs into this country, and it will be a very, very hard thing for the Coast Guard and local governments to counteract with this level of corruption and money and consistency that is available by moving illegal narcotics through a Caribbean island that has all the same, not all the same, but the same travel rights as American citizens. Again, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.